Latavia, I have the same question too. Will it flake? Who knows? First things first, grab the dough, wash my hand. Ooh, let's take a look at Dave's bread dough too, shall we? Hi, Malta. Wow. Hi, Nez. Good morning. Kazakhstan. I want to go someday. Tell me what to eat when I finally go. Hi, Germany, and hi, work. YOLO. You like my hair, do ya? Do ya? Guys, I'm thinking I have to shave this patch thing that I left up there. It's just not looking good anymore, you know? So it was a night decision and I was lazy, but now I'm not feeling it anymore. Okay. We got a little bit of all-purpose flour. I'm gonna dust my board with this. And then we also have this pie dough that is, probably needs a little more lamination, but I think what I'm going to do is cut it in half and work with the halves so that it's easier with my limited board space. It's also quite cold because it just came out of the fridge, so I might have to let it rest for a while, but nice. Look at the layers of butter. Whoop, whoop. So we'll let that hang out for a bit, and then let's check up on our bread dough. Honestly, I think Dave was a little bit too dead, so it doesn't look like it's really risen that much, but it's fine. Hi, Berlin, and yes, Aaron is still in bed. Nice cohesive dough. Will it window pane? Yeah, slightly. I don't know if you can see, but there's a little bit of window painting happening. The dough is quite cold, so it's not stretching as readily, so I'm just going to do a couple of folds, kind of align the gluten up a little bit, try to look like I know what I'm doing. Don't. It's okay. And then you form a round little bowl, make it nice and smooth, and plop it back in here. You let it rest. I probably won't be cooking this dough, so I'm going to pop it back in the fridge to slow the fermentation. Okay, as for our pies, I'm thinking instead of making one big pie, which is really hard to like cut and not have it leak all over the place, let's just make some mini tarts. So I'm going to use my mini muffin tin again, my favorite tool that I got. And maybe we'll make some mini pies. Mini tarts. Tart, pie, what the difference? What the difference? Fred's doing fine. He was very hungry and he kept coming back for kibble, so I just gave him all the kibbles that he wanted today. I bet it's all the freaking steroids that we have him on for his asthma. Making him pudgy and hungry. So I have, you know, our apple thing and our cherry thing from last night. Hopefully it'll be enough filling, but who knows. And I have some apple cider syrup that we could like slip a little bit on the inside of the tart or brush on top of the tart so it gets a little caramelized. I don't know. We're just playing here now. Trying to figure out how to do this. So usually, if I don't really care about cleanup, I whack. Oh God, I just broke the dough. I whack the shit out of this piece of dough until it flattens out a little bit. But because I have to clean up my own house, I don't feel like doing that. And yes, it's still quite brittle as a dough, mainly because we used all the different kinds of semolina flours that are a little bit coarser, and it's not quite gluten-y. But we'll make it work somehow. Apple cider syrup. Pour your apple cider into a pot. Put your desired spices in there and let it reduce until it's thick. Usually takes about 25 minutes. I think I might have to flour this quite generously because of our botched lamination job. Quite sad. A lot of people think that I'm a good baker. You're welcome to continue thinking that, but it is not true. I do bake. Am I good at it? Depends on who you ask, I guess. I definitely don't have like a natural talent for it, but I think a lot of what I like about these lives is it gives me a chance to just wing it, which I feel like as a culture that is pretty dominantly recipe based as far as cooking goes, this has been very freeing, and I feel like it is bringing the joy of intuitive cooking back to us, which I think we need. We need more of this intuitive cooking. I'm going to try to laminate this one more time. So I'm just going to roll it out a little bit thinner. And we'll fold it in thirds again. And this just helps us ensure that one, it's flakier, but also two, it might yield a very tough pie crust, which you don't want, but we're experimenting, so we'll see. It starts to look a little bit like really nice beef, the way it's marbled throughout. That's kind of what you want to see in your pie dough. You want to see the dissemination of butter evenly irregular. That's what I would call it. Now we have to chill this because it is flaking off on my rolling pin very badly. And I will just go ahead and do a plate because that is the easiest thing for me right now. hoping I don't have to fetch another container of flour, because then I have to wash my hands again, and I really don't feel like doing that. Hi, Linda. Are you gonna shit on me about Kansas again today? Hi, Supreme Cocoa. It is very early on the West Coast. Why are you even awake on a Sunday on the West Coast at this time? Just, if you don't feel like banging out your dough to kind of soften it and loosen it and increase that surface area so that it comes to temp faster, just go with very small, concentrated movements that slowly move from the center out. Tiny baby rolls that gently smush it evenly. And if it begins to crack, like so, just use your bench scraper or your hands and try to push it back together and make it cohesive. Because once you start seeing a crack and you keep rolling on that crack will just grow. If that's not a metaphor for life, I don't know what is. But correct your cracks as soon as possible for the best results. Misery will ensue the longer you wait. Oh my gosh, Eliza. You're keeping an eye on it? That's good. One of us has to. What did I say the deadline was? 12? I should probably set a timer. Thank you for the reminder. Yeah, this isn't really a dress. This is just like a very long thing that my mom got me. It could be a dress, I guess. But I'm glad you like it. Compliments to my mom, who has the best taste in clothes. Literally every single piece of clothing she's ever bought me has gotten recognition and admiration from all who see it. So, thanks, Mom, for having superior taste. Rolling this out, taking off chunks of dough with it, which is not ideal, but that's what we're doing. And then we'll just fold it in thirds. This is the least cohesive pie dough I've ever made, but, you know, very nice marbling. That's not flour, guys, that's all butter. Dust your work surface as needed with flour. And it's already in a long shape, so I'm just going to let her fold it again. The other one only got one fold, but this one will go with 2 folds. Why not? That's true. Cats don't allow us to sleep in. Eliza's really serious about winning that book auction. Yeah, I went a little skimpy on the flour because I didn't feel like grabbing another container of flour, but that was a bad choice, guys. Because now it's sticking to my rolling pin, to everything. Alright, now we'll just let it rest in the fridge again Everything's gonna get dusty. I'm trying to avoid it. This is unavoidable. True. It is for charity, I guess. You're right, you're right. Can you guys imagine a world in which we don't need charity anymore for society to function? Just like waiting for that day when we don't need crowd-funded happiness. Bridge time. Okay guys, so here's what I'm thinking. We can either make them little, basically tarts, where I blind bake all of the shells, I plop in the filling, and then I let it bake for a little bit longer. Or we can try to make some closed-topped pies. But I've never been able to like blind bake a pie shell and then fit another pie lid on top. So what do you guys do? And what do you guys want to see us do? And do you want a little bit of both maybe? Porque no los dos? I knew some of you would go half and half. I personally would like half and half too, just to try. But I think to go half and half on the non-pre-baked ones, we would have to go like really thin. The other problem is if we blind bake some of these, the pan itself is going to be hot. So then we would have to like wait for it to cool down before we put in. I'm thinking too much, guys. Here, why don't we just preheat our oven? 375. Now let's just roll. You're always supposed to use all-purpose flour for rolling on because, you know, it doesn't have the bran in it, it's not too drying, it's nice. But, like, I can't find my all-purpose flour in my super packed freezer right now, and I just don't have the energy to do that. So I'm just going to use some spelt. And we're going to mix it with a little bit of cornstarch so that we have a little bit of dispersal. Solutions. 1 tablespoon cornstarch, 1 tablespoon spelt, half and half. Do mixy mix. And we're going to pretend that this is all-purpose flour, okay? We're all in on this common delusion. See? All-purpose flour. Yes? We agree? Okay, thank you. Feels pretty nice. All right, I'm gonna cut off a quarter of this and work with it a quarter at a time because the oven is on, which means my kitchen is gonna heat up significantly quicker now, and also my pie tins are resting on the preheating oven, which is just not good overall, guys. A little bit of our AP flour. Dusting both sides. I'm just gonna roll it out. And yes, before you bake pie dough, you're supposed to let it freeze and chill, you know, to retain the edges of butter layers, but like, nobody's got time for that today. I also don't have fridge space for that today. All of these recipes were written with like commercial spaces in mind, where you have all these places that are meant to be used as such. What if for the home cook you really just don't have any space in your fridge? Then what? Then what? Okay, let's see. I'm gonna trim off some of the unevenness here. Maybe we can reserve for later. And let's see how many this will yield. Potentially just 2, actually. This is approximately a 3 1/4 inch piece. And yep, I think that's the size we have to go with. I just broke it. It's gonna be fine, guys. We're gonna patch it up. We're gonna pretend it never happened. Didn't happen. Never happened. This is very stress-inducing, guys. Very stress-inducing. I really wish I had more space. Here we go. Create your space. Make space for yourself. Nobody else will give it to you. So it's going to be pretty boring. I'm just going to be rolling these out. It looks like we'll be yielding about 8 from half a batch of dough, which means the full batch of dough yields about 16. But if you re-roll, you can probably get 18 or 19 cups out of it. That's what it's looking like it'll push out. Very frustrating to make laminate-y stuff in a hot kitchen. It's close to impossible sometimes. The dough is splitting all over the place, which is great. That was sarcasm. And I don't really have pie weights for these. So we're just going to hope that they don't turn out too terrible, guys. Ideally, you have pie weights to help you retain the shape of your cups and your pie shells, but I don't. I could just use rice or beans, but I would then not be able to use those anymore because they would get burnt. So I'd rather just have actually edible stuff. I didn't oil or butter the pan because there's a lot of butter in the dough. So I'm thinking we'll just experiment with half the dough first, see how it goes. And while the first batch bakes, we can prep out the second batch and hopefully get the slices a little bit more chilled before they have to go into the oven. Ooh, that one's gonna be an ugly one. Cracking all over the place. Alright, we'll patch you up a little bit, bud. Usually if you try to patch pie dough, I mean, it also depends on the dough that you're using, but it's really hard to patch pie dough successfully. It will kind of just detach itself and separate off in the bake, but you can always just, you know, hide it. I feel like the best pies are not always the most picturesque pies. It's because the most picturesque pies, unless you're extremely talented and practiced, tend to be the most overworked one, because they're more concerned with the aesthetics of the product than with the actual taste. It's kind of like when cakes have fondant on them, which is absolutely the most disgusting thing you could ever put on a cake. They look good and impressive, but they don't look like a cake I want to eat, you know? What's the best kind of tart pan? Get the kind with like a releasable bottom. The fluted one with like a round bottom that falls out. Really easy removal. But if you're talking pie, I don't know. I don't have enough experience baking pie to let you know if metal or glass is better, but I feel like glass or ceramic is more traditional for most folks. Glass is cool because you can monitor the baking process. You can see how dark your crust is getting. You can see if the juices are bubbling a little bit better. But pros and cons. I didn't didn't see the last question about whether or not I'm stressed because it just went by too fast, sorry. The flavors could work together, cherry and apple, sure, why not? I don't know, I haven't tasted it. Oh my god, these things just keep breaking. I'm gonna roll out this scrap just to see what it comes out as. It might be really, really tough compared to the others, but you won't know until you try it. The dough is also really freaking soft right now. Terrifyingly soft. Okay, that's a bad idea. We're not gonna play with that dough right now. I'm just ruining it. Alright, we're gonna slide this into the oven. Um, 9 cups. And we'll just, there's 11 minutes left on the timer till it hits noon. We'll just leave it there. Meanwhile, I'm going to try to think of what to do with my rolling pin that is now caked in dough. And we should probably fridge those scraps. Judy is right. If it's breaking, it just ends being a reverse crumble. Exactly. Wisdom here. Oh yeah, I'm not stressed because you guys are watching. I'm stressed because I don't have enough space to do this. It's just like messy cooking setups really stress me out. One of the most stressful parts of filming the Thanksgiving and Christmas budget eats was not having a place to land all of my dishes. Like I had to start putting all of my finished baked goods on Erin's desk. It's just such a small place. It's not set up to do all of these things sometimes. Yeah, the edges might burn a little. You're not wrong. But we're here to make mistakes, so you can see how far you can push the envelope. The problem is if I roll out all of this dough now, I have no idea where I'm supposed to put them without them sticking to each other. I guess I could put parchment in between, but then I would have to like use parchment. We've so far done basically everything you're not supposed to do with pie dough, which is not let it rest, work in too much butter at warm temperatures, patch it, roll it too much. So, you know, if this comes out tasting like shit, one, you won't know because you're not here to taste it. But two, you'll know, hey, June did that and it came out disgusting. Maybe I won't do that next time. Don't you love it when people make your mistakes for you? I feel like that's gotta be a service. Yes, I am that weirdo who keeps rolled up relatively clean parchment in the freezer for cases like this. Yeah, Judy, you're right. I'm just being extra harsh. It's just what I'm used to doing. I'm curious, is there anyone who's watching this live right now who has not seen Budget Eats? Thanks, Julie. I'm glad you enjoy my weird methods. Allison, I'm rolling out the quote-unquote pie dough that we made last night, and I'm trying to make them into little tart things. Which, I still don't know, man. Is tart just a pie without a top? And it tends to have a shortbready crust rather than a flaky one? Is that the only difference between the two? Good night, 19. Ooh, I'm starting to smell the pie dough, guys. I smells it. It smells good. It smells a little bit sour. No, I've not done a monochrome week yet. Nah, Julie, I don't really want positive talk. Not really a fan of that shit. Thank you, though. Like, all those inspirational posters that say shit like, dance like no one's watching, makes me want to barf a little. Which is saying a lot, because I haven't barfed since I was in the 4th grade. I try to say motivational shit to myself sometimes to, like, make myself not feel as shitty, but it just doesn't work. I'm just not built for it, guys. Yeah, Linda, I'm game. Take me dumpster diving. Kirsten, apples and hummus? Really? Really? I don't know, girl. I don't know. Maybe you should submit that to the next weird combo. Alright, coming. Yep. Okay. Guys, it smells like butter. Let's see what it looks like. And also this means it's noon and I should probably check. Okay, kind of a disaster. Like some of them are very broken and leaky, but kind of not. It's fine, I can live with that. Let's fill them. I just realized, I'm so sorry, Eliza, but because I'm on my phone now, I can't actually end the auction, so please bid if you got outbid. In case you haven't noticed, I'm a very poor planner. I don't plan things very well. Oh, nice, a non. $150, that's some big bucks. It's going to the NYC Coalition for the Homeless, hopefully. It helps some people out. Who knows anymore? Let's do some apple. We can have real talk anytime, guys. Just real talk me up. You say the word and I give you all of my brain fart thoughts on it. Do we want to see these latticed? There, we're gonna have a couple that are cherry apple combos, okay? Because I'm lazy, why don't we just do a like very simple lattice, just going down one way? Just because I'm lazy. No other reason. I'm thinking the bake time should be no more at this stage than 10 minutes. So we'll see. Just realized you couldn't see any of my rolling action. My bad. You missed it. All the exciting shit. JK, none of this is that exciting. It's the community that's the exciting part, isn't it? Oh my god, can you hear my stomach rumbling? Oakley dokley. Ta-da! Let's put some sugar on there. This is my apple cider syrup. We're gonna dunk a little bit of it out, and then we're gonna brush some of these pies with it. I'm gonna tilt you down a little bit so you can hear my stomach rumbles even better. This has cardamom in it. So instead of egg wash, I'm just dappling some apple cider syrup. Did I say vinegar? Not vinegar, guys, not vinegar. I'm just gonna dapple them a little bit, and we'll sprinkle some granulated sugar on top. Oh, I didn't crust that one. I wonder why I didn't crust that one. Just a teensy sprinkle of sugar for texture. It's already sweet enough as is, I think. That was probably less than a teaspoon that went across all of these. Okay. Here we go. Going back in. Sweet. What's going on with the YouTube censorships? Honestly, guys, every single day it seems more and more ridiculous. Any requests to do the next batch differently? What if we made like baby cristadas? Would that be so adorable if we made baby cristadas? Because I already rolled out all the pie dough, so I can't actually make bigger cristadas now. Oops. But hi 2 a.m. Courtney. Well, I'm gonna pop this tray in the freezer for like a minute, just so it can cool off. Oh man, that is a full freezer. Kelso, welcome to the live. Hope you're having an okay day. Okay, question time. Is there anything you guys wish this live would have that you don't see? And I'm not talking like I want you to make Chinese food or I want you to make friggin' 8,000 layer cakes. I'm just talking like, is there an overarching theme or component? Oh, more cat. Well, I can't force the cat, guys. He's unpaid labor. Singing? What do I sing? I only have like 3 notes I can hit properly and the rest of them just slide into oblivion of melting notes. 10-second rule? You betcha I do. Movies and art. Let's talk about movies and art. I I Care a Lot yesterday. Did anyone else see that movie? Well, we can all vote on a topic of the day at the very beginning of the stream if you guys want that. If there's any burning topics or questions that you guys want to discuss, feel free to shout it out, and we can all just human megaphone it to me. Well, I'm glad you think I can sing. Maybe there is hope for me yet. Was the movie good? I wouldn't say I loved it. I think I followed a very set trajectory of plot, and I would say the acting is like a B plus, max. And it's like very outlandish, you know. It's one of those plots where you're like, I know this shit can't happen. Yeah, the premise of the movie is horrible, but you know what? At this rate, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, does anybody actually know if that's a practice? What was shown in I Care a Lot? Because given how bad our healthcare system is set up and how vampiric it is, I would not be surprised. My film friend said I Care a Lot was misogynistic. Aren't most movies? Got a little too greedy. Okay, here we go. Can you see? Can you see? Okay. Sorry, I'm not paying attention to the chats. If you ask me any questions, you might have to ask again later if you want me to answer. And there's been a lot of, like, last night I went back and I watched maybe, like, I skipped through like 10 minutes of the live, and people ask a lot of what can be considered sensitive questions, and I just want to say here now that I'm not opposed to answering those. I literally just don't see those questions again, so please don't feel bad for asking again those questions. I just want to make sure that the people who want to hear the answers to those questions are present when I'm answering those questions, because a lot of those questions are pretty heavy for some folks. So I don't want to just be like, last night I saw this question come through, I want to talk about it, and then just kind of wha-bam everybody else into hearing the response. I hope you understand. bottom crust is starting to burn, but the top crust is not done yet. So we're gonna go a little bit longer. A little bit longer, like 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Probably not a good idea to par bake those shells as much as I did. But here we are, guys, making mistakes. Falling all over. Is a film misogynistic just because the protagonist is evil? Is the film misogynistic if it condones and gives humanity to people who call women a bitch and is seemingly justified in it? I think this kind of plays into, I don't know, if I may use the word, the current discourse on identity politics. Like, are there women who are presented in a good light in the movie? I don't know. I don't know. But just because the woman is a bad person, does that make the film itself misogynistic? What if the film had no good people in it?
Also, the portrayal of something doesn't equate endorsement of it.
Aaron just said the portrayal of something doesn't equate the endorsement of it.
That's not how art works. If art could only show you good people, then art would 95% disappear.
I just don't know, guys. I mean, obviously she's not a good person, but, and we never really got to see, like, why she wants power that bad. We got, like, one throwaway line about how her mom was a sociopath, or, you know, at least her relationship with her mother is portrayed as not good, but like not a lot of backstory. So I do wish maybe some backstory would have been nice, but I mean maybe it's anti-feminist of me to say, hey, we need a reason to show why this woman turned into a bad bitch, like not in the good sense of like Rihanna's a bad bitch, but like in the sense of like she's a bitch and she's a bad person.
It's feminist to just let women be evil, because feminism means equality with men. Men can just be evil.
Right, exactly. Aaron just said it's feminist to let women just be evil because men is allowed to be evil. But I mean, I don't want to measure, I guess by definition feminism means equality for women, but like I don't want to measure ourselves, and by ourselves I mean women, against what we measure men against, because men get away with a lot of shit that I don't want to see people getting away with in society. I don't want men to be the golden standard against which we say, this is what we're allowed to do, and this is what we're allowed to not do, and this is, it feels wrong, right? We compared Trump to Bush. That doesn't make Bush good. They're all bad. So why would we aspire to be better than Bush? You know, like that's what I'm saying. I'm not looking at the comments, so if there's people feverishly canceling me, I will have to get back to you later. Sorry. Rachel says it's misogynistic because it uses the fact that the lead character is a woman who is portrayed by an actor who has played many similar roles many times as a way of creating conflict simply because she is a woman. Ah, interesting. Okay. Interesting. So you think the film sets her up as, well, I don't know. Yeah, Are you saying that a man in that same role would have gotten away with it? Or would there just have been less of a reactive sense of, because she does a lot of apologizing in a way. Not in an apologetic way, but in a way that's like, men berate women and men threaten women, and therefore I'm gonna do all the things that men tell me not to do simply because they just threaten women, and therefore I don't want to deal with that shit, and I don't want to make space for that shit, and I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want? Or I don't know. This is a complicated issue. Are you saying that if that character were a man, there would have been no story? That's interesting. I for sure see it would be a different story. Definitely. You're totally right. Okay. Top crust is kind of underdone, but we're gonna pull it because it's burning on the bottom. But I don't know if you can see this bubblicious activity happening. There you go. A little bubblicious. A little soundscape. We're talking about I care a lot. Men are typically allowed to be complex while women are not. I suppose I agree to a certain extent. Certainly people who are underrepresented in writing and directing and all of that get the short end of the stick in terms of their on-screen portrayals. So there's no way I will disagree with that statement.
If Breaking Bad was starring a woman instead of a man as Walter White, would it be misogynist? That would be weird.
Well, Walter White is seen as a very complex character.
Right, and so this person's problem with it is just that a woman is portraying somebody who is quote unquote complex or evil.
No, she's not complex. That's the problem.
She's pure evil.
She's seen as money hungry and evil, and she only wants power. That's the problem, Aaron.
Okay, well, a lot of men are like that too. So let women be like that also.
I mean, I'm not saying don't let women be like that, Oso. I'm just saying maybe they could have written the character better. You're saying you use Walter White as an example. Hold on. You use Walter White as an example. I've never seen Breaking Bad. I don't know how complex of a space his character takes up, but I'm willing to bet that it's nowhere near as simplified as this villain was.
Right, and the problem is with the characterization, the way the character was.
Right, and that's what makes the film itself misogynistic. That the writing wasn't good, that it portrayed women in a simplified manner.
Portray a particular woman in a simplified manner, not women in general.
Well, there's only 2 women who are like, for the most part, you know their name, 3 women that you know their names of, and they're all pretty simplified.
Okay.
So if you're only representing 3 women and they're all not complex, then what? Then either it's just bad writing or it is misogynistic, right?
Then the problem is that they have trouble writing complex characters.
Okay. Was there a more
I'm uncomfortable with the idea of equating a woman being evil in media as misogynistic.
Okay, well, I have to ask the audience this then. Do you guys think there was a male character in there who was more complex? Like, I don't even remember his name because his identity was supposed to be kind of covert, but the son, who was portrayed by Peter Dinklage, was he complex? Or was he also just kind of shallow? I feel like there was just not good writing, you know? Which is to be expected for a lot of these stupid Hollywood movies. But because like representation is important and you can't write what you don't know, but also don't let one representation of a woman represent all representation of women. We're just gonna bake these strips up. Going in. Are you ready to taste the pie? Aaron? Aaron? You want to taste the pie?
Sure.
You want me to bring it to you?
Not yet. Not I'll do it later. You don't worry about it.
Guys, I have no way of getting these pies out of their shells. They're so thin and fragile. They're so thin and fragile. I can't move them. Oh no. Oh, but I can eat this. Mmm. Toasty. That one definitely got too dark. Too long. Liz says, I really like it when you talk about your life experiences. Okay, well the thing with that is I can't just start anywhere. You guys have to like prompt me somehow, you know? Ooh, Promising Young Woman. Let's talk about that one. I had such great expectations for that one, but man, what genre was that movie going for? I'm also gonna eat these apple syrup marinated cardamom pots. Don't mind me. Fredo is in the bedroom. Ooh, tart, minty, cardamom-y, fibrous, sweet, appley, delightful. Apple, cider, syrup, marinated cardamom. Maybe we should do a movie club where we all watch a movie and then we come back and discuss. These are probably from Amazon from years ago. They're like little silicone pinch bowls. Very nice. I got them to make lip balms and I don't use them anymore. How did I like Pennsylvania? I've never really explored Pennsylvania. I totally agree with Elizabeth. Yes, I love films that go against convention. pretty much lived in New York my whole entire adult life. I taught in China for a year after college graduation, and I went to college in Pennsylvania for 4 years. But other than that, it's been New York. I haven't seen Minari. Is it as good as the reviews say it is? The trailer made it look so, like, soapy, almost. Like, very melodramatic. Aaron's not gonna watch a movie to participate in movie club. He never even watches movies with me when I want. I added the sourdough starter to the pie crust for flavor and also just to use it up a little bit. What are the movies that are available on YouTube, guys? I can't take Bateman seriously, so him with Jennifer Aniston just sounds like a movie I would not even touch. Hi, Brittany. Wow, that's a compliment. Thank you. I don't know if I've had Singaporean cuisine before. Maybe like a few snacky dishes here and there, but I don't know if I've ever sat down at a Singaporean restaurant to eat a Singaporean meal. I would love to. Hi, Philippines. Bye, Rebecca. Ooh, Joylene, that is a very early day in Hawaii. I've had Hainanese chicken, yeah. Is that Singaporean? I didn't even know. I knew it was like some sort of like Southeast Asian infusion, cultural diffusion dish. Robuta. Bone broth tea? I don't know if I've had that. Oh man, Sound of Metal. Absolutely my favorite film of last year. That's an amazing film. If you haven't watched Sound of Metal, you need to go watch Sound of Metal. Yeah, Melody, exactly. I think I've had like a medley of Southeast Asian dishes that are all kind of like, they have some sort of like Venn diagram overlap at some point. So I bet I've had like Singaporean dishes, but I don't know Singaporean meal. Hi, Roosevelt Island. How is it on that sleepy island? The first time I ever heard of Roosevelt Island, I was like, Mom, we have to go. There's an island in New York. And then we went, and I was like, Mom, this is really freaking boring. Sorry, Roosevelt Island. But it is boring, you know that. Taro, I mostly just boil taro with coconut milk and sugar and eat it. I'm very lazy when it comes to taro. I like it sweet. I don't like it in savory things like dim sum items. So pretty much you're just going to see me boil taro and eat the paste. Fennel. Fennel is really good. You can do it in soup, stir fries. You can eat it raw, sliced thin in a salad. Roast it. Vicky, you've never been to like where do you live in New York City? Taro's everywhere in the outer boroughs. Like any Chinese store, any Asian store, Indian stores have it. They have the baby taros more often than the fat ones. Guys, you didn't tell me the timer went off. Oops. Okay, it's not done yet, but close. Let me see if I can get any of these out. Ooh, it broke. It broke. It's okay, guys. It's okay. It's okay. Shh, you didn't see that. It broke, but it still looks pretty good. Park Slope, yeah, you gotta find yourself some Asian stores. Unfortunately, the yuppie areas probably won't have it. They are crumbling, guys, but they look fine. That one is a goner. That one got really leaky. Oh my god, guys. Look at that piece that broke off with all the cherry juice in it. And like the perfect caramelized outside. It's so tart. And the tartness from the cherries and the lemon juice combined with the tartness in the sourdough, and it's just like really wholesome. It's not like fully lemon juice tart, it's more like lemonade tart because we have so much sugar in the fruit and the filling. It's nice, guys. Ooh, did I turn my oven off? Oops, didn't mean to do that. I'm funny. Ta-da! A mess of baby pies have fallen apart. They're just falling apart, but they have somewhat some integrity. Juicy cherry filling, flaky deconstructing crusts. We have a little bit of a lattice action going on with our apples, you know. Oh yeah. That's pretty well balanced, if you ask me. Really nice and buttery, a little bit shortbready. As you can see, it didn't really puff up like a croissant because it's more of a shortbread. But it's still nice. Probably not worth all that lamination trouble, honestly. Probably should have just mixed in all the butter at once. Mmm. Oh yeah. And then it's like you get one hit of sugar and you're like, give me more. Give me more. Look at that one. Look at that one with the perfect cherry and apple. Just look at them. Just look at them. Did I miss any questions? Feel free to ask again. I'm going to stare at my screen while I scrub out this tray. Holly, I'm making myself hungry. These are really good. Sugar and butter, you can't go wrong. You really can't. Guys, if you ever make a baking recipe and you're like, ooh, I fucked up, and there's already butter in there, and there's already expensive ingredients in there, please, for the love of God, please, just make something with it. Just bake it. Please do not throw out that batter. It hurts me so much every time a reader writes in and says, like, I already threw out 3 batches of your brioche dough because I couldn't get it to work. And I'm like, why? Why did you not just make something else with it? Was Aaron annoyed when people complained about his food critiques on Budget Eats? I was annoyed when people complained about Aaron's critiques on Budget Eats because Aaron did not ask to be a part of Budget Eats. Because we were quarantined at home, Julia was like, why don't you make budget meals for 2 people? And I'm like, well, it's kind of weird if I make the meals for 2 people and only I'm eating it. So Julia was like, well, can you get Aaron to come give a tiny review? And that's how that started, you know? Aaron is unpaid labor. Aaron is volunteering his time, his face, his persona, and to be critiqued for being quote-unquote ungrateful is just outrageous. Yeah, exactly, Jennifer. Cook your mess-ups. Cook them. Ooh, the crostadas look good, guys. They look good. Crostadas were way more successful. No doubt about it. He's got a little toasty. Oops. I think Aaron will still love eating them because he loves pie crust. My favorite Budget Eats episode? I don't know if I have a favorite, honestly. How do I pick? I've spent so much time into all of them. Yeah, exactly. Aaron knew that he was getting flack for what he was saying, so of course he's not going to say it anymore. Just consciously or unconsciously, comments do have an effect on our behaviors.
What did I stop saying?
I think you stopped being, like, too critical in your critiques after people were like, Aaron's too critiquey.
Maybe.
Megan, crostada spelled C-R-O-S-T-A-T-A. It's exactly what we made here. It's like a little freeform pie. I don't know what the difference is between a crostata and a galette. I think a crostata is more rustic. Galette sounds like it's French, crostata sounds like it's Italian. Sneha wants you to know that they appreciate your reviews. Aaron.
Thank you.
A very tired thank you. Very tired thank you from Aaron. And it's not like because Aaron is critiquing me means that the dish is bad. It's just another person's opinion. He's just there to be a foil to my own critiques, you know? A second opinion, I think, is always valuable. But people seem to not be okay with that because I guess we've been brought up in this culture where, like, we're all special snowflakes and we all do great things and we all do great jobs all the time, and if we don't get a good job or a great job, then like we're being critiqued. No, it just means that you didn't do a great job. It's fine. You don't have to do a great job. Why do you have to do a great job all the time? It's like inflation. Was that ranty enough for you? Here we go, guys. Crostadas are out. Let's get you an overhead view. When you can't make pie, make crostata. Half of the effort, all of the deliciousness. Plus, they look effortlessly gorgeous. You don't have to like fuck with pie crimps or anything like that. They just are what they are. I'm gonna eat a toasty pie crust. Mmm. Wow. Yo, these look gorgeous. What was my life like at 10? I was like 4th or 5th grade. I was really sick with IgA nephropathy. It was not great. I don't think I liked my life when I was 10. The ones where the juices leaked out, it basically turned into caramel on the tray. You see me pulling it off here? It's like if you get it while it's still soft, it's basically like candy, burnt candy. Go-to takeout? Aaron and I literally never eat takeout. Never. Aaron goes to Indo Java in Elmhurst on Tuesdays for their like meal order Tuesday lunchtime specials, but we never order takeout. We'll just snack on stuff. We don't order takeout because we're too lazy to cook. We just don't eat real food or real meals when we're too lazy to cook. When we do takeout, it's because we want to eat that takeout specifically. Takeout as a meal, like a normal everyday meal, is just not a thing for us. I gave away the Stonewall peanut butters, and Stonewall actually reached out to me and offered me a gift package of sorts to like make it up for me, and they told me that on their website it's not nearly as expensive. I think on their website it's like $8 or $9. I don't know, look it up if you're interested in finding out the real price. And they asked what store I got it in. I told them, and I was like, it's cool, I don't need a makeup package, but they were nice about it. 8 or 9, I guess is fine. Erin said it's not bad, especially Stonewall Kitchen as a brand is meant for gifting other people, so it's like that price range for gifting. But I do think after eating other peanut butters that are half the price and being just as good, it is kind of overpriced, especially if I don't know where your peanuts are coming from or how well you pay your workers, and it's just the brand name that I'm paying for. What is the food that everyone raves about that you don't like? What do people rave about though? I probably don't like them all. I had IgA nephropathy as a kid. When I immigrated to the US at the age of 7 for that physical exam they give to all immigrants, they found blood and protein traces in my urinalysis, and that's how I found out I had IgA nephropathy as a kid. It's an autoimmune condition, and I'm sure I suffered some kidney damages throughout that process, but you can't really cure it. You can only like contain it and control it. So I was lucky enough to not have gone to that extent where I needed dialysis or kidney transplants. So I'm sure my kidneys aren't great, but they're great enough for me. Dalgona coffee is so strong, yes, but it's so delicious. Valerie, I used to hate fennel too before this year, but like this year I'm like, fennel, cool. I'll eat you again. I don't have any plans on visiting India. I feel like it would be a very overwhelming place for me to be, just like a lot of people and a lot of noise and just a lot. But Erin wants to go. Erin wants to go eat all the foods there. I'm just like, man, I don't know. If I'm honest with you, not really high on my travel list. There's just too much stimulus. Yeah, my preschool was in China and part of it was in Japan. Germany, I want to go. Germany is pretty high, probably in my top 10 countries that I want to visit. But I've never been, not yet. Appleberry crisp in the oven, yum. Shall we eat a crostata? Shall we eat a crostata, guys? I lived in Japan when I was 3 and 4, so I don't recall much of it. This was my scrap one where I barely had any filling left. Oh, that's so hot. Mmm. It's good though, guys. Oh my god. Why did I take a second bite? I forgot all of my Japanese the minute I went back to China. The cherries are amazing. They're soft, tender, falling apart, but they still have some texture to them. They're not just completely jam. Very voluptuously fruity. The crust is nice and crunchy from the sugar. Really nice taste of butter coming throughout the bite, throughout the chew. And the rest of the jammy bit is just so infused into the pie crust itself that it forms that little gel-like layer of starch, butter, sugar, and fruity acidity. Wow. That's pretty good. See? You can even bake without a recipe, guys. Overthrow the culture of recipes. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of you guys too. Wow. The apple one, really good, really homey. Tastes a little bit healthy, but not in that like health nut way, not in a bad way. Just like, you know that it came from a fresh apple, and you know that there's not a lot of like gloopiness to it. The cherry one has a little bit more of a gloopiness to it, but it's like grandma's gloopiness, not like Whole Foods gloopiness. So I like them both a lot. They're both really great. I think the crostata is better because it just held together better and you have more of a presentation aspect to it. Whereas with these, like, they taste great, but they're a mess, guys. What can I say? They're a mess like Jeb. I'm still gonna eat one though. Oh my god. Another piece of butter paper. I knew it. Also, because the tarts were par-baked, the crust on the tarts tastes more like shortbread, and these taste more like pie dough. Okay guys, I got to go. I gotta message the winner of our auction, and let's see if Fred wants to say hi. Aaron will get pie later. Fred, will you say hi? Can you say hi to the people, Fred? Can you? Doop. Guys, he's so soft. He's so soft. I know he wants to continue to nap, but he was up since 4. He was up since 4, meowing at me. Meowing, meowing, meowing until 9. Meowing. Now it's nap time. Now until 7 p.m. And then at 7 p.m., he'll start asking for food again because he's starving to death. Starving to death. Mm-hmm. We don't know if Fred is ringworm free now, but I'm gonna go wash my hands very soon after this. Oh yes, you like that, don't you? You like that, don't ya? Don't ya, don't ya, don't ya? Okay, Fred, though. Goodbye. Say bye to the people. Bye, people. Have a good day.